let me get rolling, y'all, because I don't want to take up much time. Life is unpredictable. Many of us, including me, struggle with accepting that there are things we cannot control. There are things we cannot bend to our will just because we have the resolve to do so, or the heroic attempt, or because we got the heroic attempt to make it so. Life is unpredictable, and so many things are out of our control. No matter how many safeguards we put in place, we have a hard time dealing with the fact that there is no guarantee in life. Many of us will often get stuck because we had a bad decision or a series of bad decisions, including who we let in our life and how many people you had that you just were silly with, even the amount of kids you might have with somebody or peoples. Nonetheless, despite some of our best efforts, we will face setbacks at some point in our lives. Whether it's a failed relationship, it's a job loss, it's a health issue, or any other challenge or setback, any other challenge. Setbacks can be incredibly difficult to deal with. But the blessing in the storm is overcoming the setback. Do that. Overcoming the setback. Doing so, that can lead to many benefits that can positively impact our lives and send your life in an unexpected direction that bears fruit that you never, ever imagined. The benefit of overcoming setbacks is resiliency. Resiliency is the ability to bounce back from difficult situations and to adapt to change. When we face setbacks, we have the opportunity to build our resiliency by learning from our experiences and finding ways to move forward. Resiliency is an essential skill that can help us navigate future challenges, and it gives us the tools and wisdom to recover more quickly. Another benefit of overcoming setbacks is personal growth. When we face adversity, we are forced to confront our weakness and limitations. By overcoming setbacks, we can develop new skills, gain new knowledge, and become more self-aware if we choose to. This process of personal growth can lead to increased confidence, improve your relationships, and establish a larger sense of purpose. How many times with men do we talk about he needs to have purpose and he needs to be on his purpose? You cannot have purpose. You cannot get on your purpose without a setback. Your purpose cannot be defined or revealed without a setback. When we face challenges, we are often reminded that the things that are truly important in life, such as our relationships, our health, and our passions, by overcoming setbacks, we can develop a greater appreciation for those things and find greater joy where we didn't think to look in the first place. Another benefit of overcoming setbacks is that it can lead to new opportunities. Setbacks can often be a catalyst for change, and they can help us see things in a new light. By overcoming setbacks, we can open ourselves to new experiences, new relationships, new opportunities that may not have otherwise been considered by us. Overcoming setbacks can help us become more compassionate and empathetic towards people. When we face adversity, we are often reminded that the struggles that others may be facing. By overcoming setbacks, we can develop a greater sense of compassion and empathy towards others who may be going through similar things. This can lead to stronger relationships and a stronger sense of community. Before we go a little bit further with this discussion, let me make a statement. Let me redefine my statement. Black men, you are not Jesus. But Black women want you to be. And even if you were, being Jesus for a lot of our women still wouldn't be good enough. What are the things that are, what are some of the things that contribute to the need? What are some of the things that contribute to the need for Black men to work harder than our other counterparts? Let's start with a little bit of historical context. And I know I'm rushing a little bit, but bear with me. We can't overlook Black men in America for having the longest history of being subjected to systemic oppression and discrimination. Okay? Everything from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration, Black men have been constantly marginalized and disadvantaged by direct and institutionalized racism. This is not a complaint right now. I'm not whining about woe is me, and this is not a stream about racism. I'm just outlining a little bit of history and context right now. The legacy of racism have left a lasting impact on the economic, social, and cultural realities that many Black men face today. This physical, psychological, and emotionally concurring of Black men have also left a multi-generational impact on how our Black women view their personal safety and protection from Black men. Black women have watched their Black men be dominated in some of the most unspeakable and horrific ways that one can now argue is the foundation for her lack of respect for him and leading her to do the very thing that everyone else has done, dominate her man. Take a look at Black culture. Who is in the head of Black culture? Our Black women. That is unprecedented in any other culture. And what do our women do with that position of authority? They do the same thing anybody else do with a position of authority. They dominate. But we'll save that for another day because we're going to get back to that. One major factor that contributes to the need for Black men to work harder for success is the perceived wealth gap. Black men are disproportionately likely, the key word there is likely. Black men disproportionately are likely to live in poverty and are less likely to have access to resources, opportunities that lead to economic mobility. Remember, the key word is likely. For example, Black men are less likely to have access to quality education, affordable healthcare, and stable housing. This lack of access to basic resources can make it more difficult for Black men to achieve success and create a cycle of poverty that is difficult to break. However, despite these likelihoods, Black men today, the average Black man, the regular old brother, only earns about $5,000 a year less than his white male counterparts. And even despite these so-called likelihoods, Black men actually out-earn their Black women by nearly $15,000 a year. Despite this narrative that Black women are out here getting the bag, you do not have to take my word for that. I encourage you to go visit blackdemographics.com or go to the Census Bureau or the Department of Labor Bureau of Statistics. And you'll learn something very clear, that only 9% of Black women earn over $75,000 a year. That means very few Black women are getting the bag despite what nonsense you see on social media. All right, let's take a roll call for the principal. We got N. Allen. There you go from my unsolicited opinion. Thank you, N. Allen, for dropping by. Okay, I really appreciate that. And we got, like I said, Mr. Terrell Key is in the building, and he's shouting out N. Allen. All right, here we go. That means very few Black women are getting the bag. So in addition to the so-called wealth gap, Black men also face discrimination and bias in the workplace at an unprecedented clip. Studies have shown that Black men are often subject to negative stereotypes and biases that can limit their career opportunities, earning potentials, and even their upward mobility. For example, Black men are often assumed to be less competent or less qualified than their white counterparts. Even, let me tell you something real quick. For those of you who know who the Urban League is, the Urban League has in their charter, their national charter, that they have in their national charter that any CEO, president, CEO of any local Urban League cannot be white. There are one or two exceptions, and it has to be approved by the national charter if they're going to have a white CEO. The last time I checked, nationally, there was only 2 white CEOs of the Urban League. They don't play that, and that's because of this myth that Black men aren't competent. And the CEO and the Urban League is the most effective civil rights organization for Black folk out there. They're more effective than the NAACP. They're more effective than the National Action Network with Al Sharpton, and the Urban League is conservative. I'm talking about Black conservative, not Trump conservative. There's a difference. We're going to get to that too. Okay? Even when Black men have equal qualifications and experiences, the more distasteful thing is that when Black men have more qualifications and more experiences, we have to provide proof of our provenance, and they question. They got the nerve to question and sometimes outright dismiss your credentials as if there had been some mitigating circumstances that allowed you to obtain it. There's got to be a reason why you graduated from Harvard. There's got to be a reason why you graduated in the top 10% in your class. There's got to be, it's affirmative action that you become the vice president of your industry. Or like in my field, like the chief office, the chief director of the emergency room is a Black man. It's got to be affirmative action for that, because you don't see that across the country. He just can't be better because he's better. And most of your hardworking Black men are just simply better. Another factor that contributes to the need for Black men to work harder for success is the cultural pressure to conform to unrealistic standards placed on Black men. And sometimes those unrealistic standards, unfortunately, are placed by our own women. Black men are often expected to be stronger, more independent, more self-reliant, and we have to be that way in an extreme form, which can make it very difficult for us to ask for help or seek help. This pressure to outperform or be more than any other man, this expectation that is even at times placed on us by our women, can lead us to feel isolated and lonely, which can make it difficult to build strong and lasting relationships with our women. Real quick to the ladies that are in the stream right now. How many times have you encountered high-performing Black men? They're socially awkward. They are angry. They are recluses, meaning that they're loners. Think about the crushing weight that they have to be up under. And I'm not making excuses for their poor behaviors, because as men, unfortunately, I tell men all the time, unfortunately, some things are just not fair. But when things are off about you, you are responsible for fixing it. You're the leader, remember? You know, and like I stated, it makes it very difficult to build strong and lasting relationships with our women. Being a regular old man is being a regular old brother is a failing standard for us in Black America. Being Superman is just average. Being Superman is just average to our woman. Real quick, because I got to do this, because I'm so appreciative. She doesn't understand how appreciative I am, and she deserves it. And here it comes. What's coming?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Big shout out to N. Allen, the super pharmacist. Thank you, N. Allen, for supporting me. I appreciate that. It makes me feel good. It keeps me encouraged to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to grow and improve. And when I see people like N. Allen and the YouTube principal and whoever, whenever they give me anything, their hard-earned money. People do, man, let me tell you something. There are folk out in this world that don't know or don't understand or take for granted how hard it is to earn. That dollar is, people think money is just money. Every dollar you get represents something very profound. It represents something you can't get back. N. Allen can get back $10, but N. Allen can't get back the what represents that it took to get that $10, which was her time. That time it took for her, I don't care if it took her 5 minutes to earn that $10, because she gave it to me. N. Allen can never get that $10 back. That time back. She get that $10 back, but she can't get that time back. And so when somebody sits out here and donates to us, and I've seen other content creators just really take for granted, when people, contribute to the growth of their channel, their experiences. Man, I don't take that for granted at all, because I know how hard I work. I know that when I'm tired and can't get up, or I'm aching or I don't want to go do it, and then you turn around and you give that to somebody who just kind of treat it like as if you should have did it. That $10 is everything to me. And Alan, thank you. Thank you. Thank Mr. Terrell Key. Thank everybody for the last 3 weeks that have supported like this, because that represents something you cannot get back, and that's your time. So I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. And I want my daughter to understand that. All right. Let's get back to it, because we got to go, because we got to get to Terrell, okay? So what are some of the consequences of having to work harder for success? First and foremost, it can be incredibly stressful. I just said that. It could be incredibly stressful and exhausting. Black men who are constantly working harder than their peers may experience a higher level of burnout and anxiety, which can negatively impact, and we don't talk enough about this about our Black men, but can negatively impact their mental health, their physical health. It can also lead to a sense of delusional. I'm messing up the word here. Delusionment. And it can also lead to a sense of despair, as it may feel like no matter how hard we work, we will never be able to achieve the same level of respect as our white male counterparts that get it for less. And it also gives us a sense of despair for our women, who will continue to increase their level of disdain and respect, because we are under an immense amount of pressure to overachieve. Let me tell you something as I transition this stream. This is how Black men can get brainwashed into thinking some 26-year-old white girl on YouTube knows more about us than our own woman. And this desperation for respect and cooperation can lead you to think that a 26-year-old white woman on YouTube has your back in a way that your black woman don't. Feeling isolated, rejected, and disrespected is the recipe for betrayal. And what I have witnessed over the last 3 weeks in the black manosphere is nothing more than a fucking betrayal. It's a betrayal of all things black. I don't care if you conservative. I don't care if you the whole temp pro-black. I don't care if you the Nat Turner, second coming of Nat Turner. I don't care if you in the middle. That was a downright fucking betrayal. And I blame, and I know they always talk about don't name names, man, fuck them. I don't see Jason Black no differently than I do Obsidian right now. And I like Jason Black, but what he's doing, this scorched earth shit that he's doing, is no different than the apology tour that that Obsidian did. I'm not saying fuck them men. I'm saying fuck what they did, what they're doing. I'm not attacking them directly. I'm attacking what they're doing. Y'all got me sitting here cussing in front of my baby. She's sitting right here watching me do this. The need to work harder for success and respect can also impact, like I said, your personal relationship. Black men who are constantly working hard may have less time, may have less energy devoted to building and maintaining relationships. I understand that. I work my butt off. I get it. I be tired. It can also create a sense of resentment and frustration towards those who don't have to work as hard to succeed. Remember what I just said a second ago about your high achieving black men and watching them walk around angry or socially awkward or tight all the time because they got to do 3-4 times the amount of pole vaulting that somebody get to just step over. Black men are often expected to outperform their peers, and let me tell y'all, we do. Your high-performing brothers, we do. First of all, shout out to my pastor. He's in the chat today. Sorry, Pastor, about all the cussing I'm doing. You still got some work to do with me. Sometimes you got to be a little profane to be profound. Shout out to Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, for that. Historically, black men have faced significant obstacles in achieving success in the United States. Like I said earlier, from slavery to Jim Crow through the ongoing civil rights fights, where black men have had to work harder and overcome more obstacles than our counterparts in order to achieve some level of success or respect, or even respect within our own women. This is not news, and this is not a complaint of unfairness right now. This is just an illustration of facts. But despite these facts, black men continue to simply outperform. There is an expectation that black men have to be exceptional in order to be respected. We have to be exceptional in order to get a cute woman. We got to be exceptional in order to get a submissive woman. We got to be exceptional for our woman to not look at us like a partner. We got to be exceptional for our woman to be grateful to be a wife. And I'm no longer sure if exceptional is even good enough anymore, especially for the ever-changing whims of our women. And I'm not attacking our women at all. I'm a pro-black man for black women, even through all of her nonsense. even through all of her bad programming, even through I can do bad all by myself. Ain't nothing out there for me. And I'm not hitching my passport to go find some foreigner. I'm a firm believer that a black man, if we can't conquer our own woman, why you run into somebody else and you can't conquer your own? I'm in the fight. We are often held to a higher standard than our compatriots, black men are, with little margin for error. You know what? Forget that. There is no margin for error. For black men like me, there's no room for grace and mercy at times. This can lead to a great deal of pressure, stress, and anger and resentment. As I said earlier, as black men, we feel the need to constantly prove ourselves. And I am encouraging men like me to stop trying to prove any damn thing, but only to yourself. As frustrating as it might be, I'm going to say this, and I said it time and time again, black men. Stop being a damn coward when it comes to your woman. Why are you expecting that she's going to go anywhere? Where in the hell is she going? Y'all sitting around here, you letting our women, gaslight you, talking about they gon' divest and go. Divest to what? To a one-bedroom apartment by themselves? The 2020 census just released. Black women, you got something to celebrate. Your marital rate went up from 27% to a whole whopping 28%. Black men, stop allowing this cap to come through like they going anywhere. Don't nobody want they black ass but us. Our fight is internal. I ain't worried about no white man coming in to get my black woman who's a two-time baby mama with a fat booty. I'm not worried about no white man doing that. White men don't want that. Hell, we don't want it, but we'll accept it because all of us were raised in the house. Look, how many of us are walking around right now with siblings and each of our siblings got their own damn daddy? See, I'm sorry. See, I'm blaming the principal on this because I'm going somewhere. Hold on a second. It's that time. Because something's coming. What's coming?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thank you, my sexy is strong, for your $10. I'm so glad and grateful that you came through and dropped me some coins. I appreciate you on this live stream. I really do. Let me, real quick before I continue, let me drop the link because I'm going to have a few people come up and give some commentary in a little bit. But thank you, my sexy is strong. I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving me your time. Your time and represented by your dollars that you can't get back, and I appreciate that. And I will be a good steward of your $10. I swear to God, I will. I'll be a good steward of that. Thank you very much. Yeah, in Allen, that's right, in Allen. I'm cooking today. I'm cooking because I'm teeing up somebody for somebody else today. I'm teeing up somebody today. So I'm cooking for a reason. The pressure to perform can manifest itself in numerous ways. In numerous ways. For example, black men may feel that we need to overly excel academically, professionally in order to be successful and respected. We may feel that we need to achieve higher than anybody else in order just to feel adequate. The pressures to perform can manifest itself in many subtle ways. Example, black men may feel feel that we need to be more assertive or more aggressive in order to be taken seriously in the workplace or in our social settings. And we already got a bad stereotype about our behaviors in the first place. Oh my God, don't ever get mad about anything. Let me tell y'all something real quick. I got slapped by a nurse at work last year. Do you not know? If I didn't know God, I knew it in that moment. Because that's what it took for me not to floor her. Yeah, it was a her. You put your hands on me, that's bad business. Because I knew the moment I got angry, raised my voice, it wouldn't have mattered that that woman hit me. And she hit me in front of a black family who had a 19-year-old who was dying in front of us because she was trying to require me to do something that was dangerous, and she didn't know what she was doing and know what she was talking about. Stay in your lane. Our image, my image as a black man, I couldn't do what was natural because it would have even if I would have just raised my voice, it would have no longer been about that this woman put her hands on me. And after she put her hands on me, she ran out the room crying like something happened to her. Crying. They were begging her not to leave because she was for the leave shift because she was so distraught. They begged that woman not to leave shift. My goodness. So yes, the pressure to achieve can make us also forget. It can also make us do things that is counterproductive to our ultimate goal. That's the day I knew. I mean, I knew God, but I knew God then. Because if anybody who know me that oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, that day. And you being overly aggressive or overly assertive in the workforce for a black man, you know that situation right there will backfire on you big time unless you own the joint. And all of this understanding can lead us to feel inadequate, can give us anxiety, can give us depression. The pressure can lead to physical health problems. All of that bottled up. And I'm going to say something that probably people are not going to like. Is that what the hell happened with Kevin Samuels? The pressure to be number one, to be better. Kevin was better. He was better than anybody in this space, out of this space, white, black, or not. Regardless if you agree with him or not. And if you agree with him 100% of the time, then you're a sycophant. You got to be. There is constructive disagreement, even with somebody that you like and respect. We are expected to be high achievers in every aspect, and like I said, very little room for failure. It is important for black men to recognize you are not Jesus, and you don't have to be. Being a regular old brother is exceptional. I'm so bad. Being a regular old brother is enough. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to learn from your mistakes without fear, judgment, or disapproval. Here's the bottom line, black men. You are not Jesus. You should not allow anyone to place that expectation on you. especially on women, you can be wonderfully flawed like everyone else. Remember, when you achieve, you've already done enough. You've done 2 or 3 times what your counterparts have done. In a little while, we're going to go over and head over to the principal of YouTube, Mr. Terrell Key. I'm going to go ahead and drop his chat in the link. I'm going to drop his link in the chat. Mr. Terrell Key. We're going to go over there in just a little bit. I just dropped his hold on. I just dropped his link in the chat because just in a few minutes, the principal of YouTube, Mr. Terrell Key, will be directly addressing what the manosphere should be doing right now. But before we go over there, I got somebody, Mr. Elemental in the back. Why don't you cam up? Sir, can you unmute?
How you doing?
What you got to contribute today?
Oh. Yeah, got you. For me, and I listen, I really truly hear all the things that you're going. Where you and listen, you're so on point with so many of the things that you're going to, right? We do have a pressure to outperform, right? Living in the perceived wage gap, right? The bias in the workplace, right? It takes me back to one of the first things that I mentioned on this network, and I will continue to bring up the brother Stokely Carmichael. You mentioned upward mobility, right? That is one of the reasons why we struggled with the way or with the things that we struggle with, because we are still lacking the keys of upward mobility. He said it was 3 things that get us there, right? Education, money, or know someone who has the money, right? We are still being excommunicated from those spaces, right? So when you talk about we have to be better, absolutely. We have always had to be better. It's the 3-1, right? We have to be 3 times better than the average 1 cat just to make it, right? And unfortunately, because we've been living in this land of oppression for so long, that's what our people think of each other. You got to be better. You got to be better. That much better than what we already expect you to be, even though you're the most hated and least celebrated.
Mr. Frederick.
I agree with my brother Mr. Elemental said, man. I really do. But to even amplify that point even more, to amplify what he said even more, and to kind of pull it into a more personal perspective for me, honestly. You know, the one thing that you said, TJ, is that we have to be better, but what does that better get us? What is the result of us being better? Because honestly speaking, even if we are better, we're still castigated at length because of what we do and what we don't do. Our mistakes and errors are projected on a broader scale than any other race of male, period. And when they're projected on that broad of a scale, it's put out for the whole wide world to see. And you said something about us, it's okay to be flawed and things of that nature. It's okay for us to be flawed, but at what cost? What does being flawed cost us? Like you said earlier, it costs us our physical health. It costs us our emotional and mental health, PTSD, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. All these things are real things that happen to us as men, to us as Black men. It happens more to us than it does to any other race. So what does being a regular brother cost us?
What I mean by that is,
come on.
Here's what I mean by that. I want us to stop apologizing for being us. I want us to stop Look, I'm going to get into it in just a minute when I wrap up.
I would respectfully disagree with you on that one, brother. Because
this Black manosphere, this thing that we talked about last week with this large YouTuber, white woman YouTuber, who said some stupid stuff. Then we had a group of some so-called conservative Black manosphere, anti, black woman. I don't know if they're anti-black woman, but it sure as hell sound like it. Group of men coming to the rescue and aid of this woman, like she's a damsel in distress. I'm saying even with that screw up that those men do, we should be allowed to make that screw up, just like she was allowed to say something dumb like race, like slavery was over exaggerated. She ain't gonna get canceled for that. And here's the thing: we hold our own selves to our standard that our counterparts don't hold themselves to. We will push each other out of the box, out of the community, in the name of trying to please Mr. Whitey over there. See.
But where have our standards gotten us?
Huh? Here's where I am.
Where has our standards gotten us?
Well, and that's where I'm going to get to at the end about what I think should be happening with us. I'm going to get to that in my wrap up and my tee up to Mr. Terrell Key's a stream in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Black men's going to have look. I think I may have had a change of heart a little bit, Mr. Elemental. I'm going to give you the last word. Then I got to go wrap this up.
I appreciate that. Listen, I appreciate the brother's insight as well. Listen, I think you're on point 100%. We are just scrutinized through different eyes, right? Our responsibility is very different, right? So our smallest slip up becomes national news because they felt intimidated by the sound of our voice, right? It just comes off very different. So yes, sometimes we have to be perfect just to make it home. Think about that.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm gonna tell my grandmother used to. My mother did not raise me. I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother took me in when I was 6. My mother had a lot of issues, and currently, as an older woman, she still has those same issues. And my grandmother, throughout the entirety of my life, has made one excuse after another for the bad decisions, the bad habits, the missteps, or whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna say this I'm gonna say to my grandmother, I'm gonna say the same thing to us as Black men. At what point are we responsible for our own image, our own outcome, and our own narrative? I get it.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me